Welcome to the Connecting Life podcast. I'm your host dianaboskma, and here we connect the dots between health, nutrition, mindset and everyday life, helping you build a healthier and more fulfilling future, one step at a time. So, grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive into today's episode. Today, I'm going to be continuing with the Microbiome Food Spotlight series with a drink that has become very popular in recent years, and that is kombucha. I don't know whether you've ever visited a health food shop. There are some around, and in some countries more than in other countries. So, even in supermarkets here, you can actually see quite some different bottles with all sorts of different flavors and all sorts of different ways in which a traditional fermented kombucha is made. And in health food stores, you frequently see many more because there can be a whole row of them. Here in the supermarkets, it's usually, 3-4 brands. That's about it. But still, that's quite a lot. So kombucha is actually far more than a modern health trend because it's a story that reaches back through generations because it's a traditional food culture. It's quite old. So unlike the fermented vegetables and cultured dairy foods that we've explored so far, kombucha begins with something very simple: tea. So imagine taking a cup of sweetened tea and allowing nature to transform it over time. That transformation happens because of a living culture, and we call that a SCOBY. And SCOBY stands for Symbiotic Colony of Bacteria and Yeast. And you can see in the image what a SCOBY looks like because you see that at the right bottom. And it looks kind of weird. But it's another example of people learning how to work with fermentation. And what fascinates me is how different cultures around the world discovered their own versions of fermented foods and drinks. In Western Europe, for instance, we have fermented cabbage. We also have fermented milk. But that's also in different other countries, like in Asia, you also have cabbage that gets fermented. West Asia, you have all sorts of milk products that get fermented. And then we also have this tea that gets fermented. So everywhere the ingredients are different, but the curiosity and the creativity are remarkably similar. So traditional food cultures, they often developed these practices through observation and experience because it had nothing to do with modern science, because it's so much older than that. And generation after generation, they refine the process and they pass it on. And what the beautiful thing is that kombucha is one of those that is a part of that legacy. So today, many people really like, from the chiller, a kombucha, and then it's frequently flavored with some fruits or some herbs. And you can share it with others, like family or friends. And what I personally find really cool is the story behind every one of these glasses of kombucha that I drink. I like thinking about that. I like thinking about where it came from, how long we've been doing this. And that story, that bigger story, is one of patience, it's of tradition, and it's also a story of humanity's long relationship with fermentation. So, as we continue exploring traditional foods around the world, kombucha reminds that some of the most fascinating foods and drinks begin with simple ingredients. So with kombucha, it's tea, water, sugar, and thyme. That's all. It's really easy to make. So I want to thank you for joining me today with this Microbiome Spotlight talk. You can download the handout from my website if you're interested, because I've created a digital download about this. And with that, till next time, take good care of yourself and keep nourishing yourself. And I'll see you soon again. Bye-bye.